Kids are getting back to the classroom, which means competitive sports are also back on for many children. Writer and speaker Janine Charron has tips to support any athlete in your household. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being with us. Things are going to get really busy for families. Back to school, the homework routine, the work routine, and of course, extracurricular sports. So, got to manage our time wisely. Morning and nightly routines. So I guess it's about sticking to the routine.
Yeah, well, a lot of the times we show up for our schedules, but we're not really intentional about how we start our day or plan the day before. Like even last night, I was having my kids set themselves up, put your clothes out, do you know what we have on the schedule? Like sports are starting, they're going to start their tryouts, right? So even planning meals for parents, that gets really difficult. But supporting your athlete in terms of a lot of this work that I do is around mindset and resiliency development. And if there's anything that I can stress, is your sports are what you do. It's not who you are.
Right.
And as parents, we need to support. That's why it's support. We don't need to rescue them and do it for them. Otherwise, we don't help them build that resiliency.
Right.
So in this sense, it's having them pack their bags for sports, having them carry their bag back out of sport. It seems really simple, but it's not doing it for them. Don't make their bed. Have them make their bed themselves, right? Yeah,
no, that's so true because a lot of parents, they think by helping, it's doing.
Yes.
As opposed to guiding them on how to do themselves.
And then all we're doing is delaying their own development. So,
right, and independence.
Yes. And when I say morning and nightly routine, like maybe they need to get up 30 minutes earlier because they're not a child that wakes up and bounces out of bed. Maybe they need maybe they need to go for a walk. Maybe, I mean, as humans, I need to exercise. Like I was up at 5 this morning doing some yoga. I needed to move my body before I came here. Otherwise, I'm not in the right headspace.
Right.
Yep. And then nightly, at the night too, maybe when you sit down at the dinner table, we'll ask our kids, what was the best part of your day?
Right.
Or what could you improve upon? It's the same with sports. When they're coming out of a hockey game, I played sports growing up, it's tough to be told everything you did wrong.
Right.
What did you do well and what can we improve upon are two great things that you can ask.
Celebrate the wins.
Yep.
So consistency with the time as well as the habits.
Exactly. And consistency is key to
Yes.
developing that athlete as well. Yep.
Perfect. Have another hobby outside your sport.
Yeah.
That goes on the identity theme. It's not who you are.
Well, exactly. And it's also, kids can get burned out. Any of us, if we just obsess over one thing, you can get burned out. So we want to develop our athletes through other skill sets. I jokingly brought some juggling balls. These are great for brain health as well and mindset. But artwork.
Yeah.
Kids, I know we all want our child to be a professional athlete.
Right.
Is it what's going to end up happening? We don't know. But I talk a lot to in my Life After Sports YouTube series. I talk to NHL coaches, athletes, and they talk a lot about if kids are being forced or pressured so much into their sport by their parents. Again, we want to support them, make sure they're practicing, but give them other hobbies outside their sport to develop them as an all-around better athlete. Gives them more skill sets, right?
Options for passions too. Just you never know. Even if they are headed down that pro road, injury can take a lot of people out of the game.
That's a lot of people I speak to about injury. We don't know. We hope it doesn't happen, but injury can sideline athletes more often time than not before retirement. For
Sidebar question for my own interest: can you juggle?
I can.
You can juggle?
Just a little bit.
Oh yes, Janine, I love it.
I can.
All right, focus on internal validation versus external validation.
So, I mean, as athletes, right? We want to please our parents. We want to please our coaches. We need to be able to validate ourselves. Now, I'm 41. I'll be 42 in December, and I still have to work on this. We grow up, especially when you're in competitive sports, the cheering, you're getting validation, you're scoring a goal. So that defines you. And a lot of the athletes that I speak to in Life After Sports, it's around their identity crisis after sports is gone. It's like, who am I when sports stops? So if we can build on our internal validation, and that's why so there's different types of journals out there.
Right.
This is called the 5-minute journal, which for a younger athlete or even parents that don't feel like they have a lot of time or don't know where to start, I like this one because it's very simple.
Oh, it guides your journaling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, what are you grateful for? What would make today great? Daily affirmations, and then at night, what are three amazing things that happened today, and how could I make today even better? So it's just giving you an opportunity to understand your thoughts and emotions, because if we don't know how to self-lead and self-rely, we can be very reactive.
Right.
Or if they get mad at a game, or helping them work through if they missed a goal, whatever.
Yeah.
Understanding your thoughts and emotions is huge, and it starts in journaling.
For sure, and appreciating things outside of your sport, which is really nice to prompt those thoughts and provoke those thoughts from a young athlete.
Well, exactly. And this is where it goes back to ways we can support our athletes, because we're not there to do it for them or rescue them. This is a big one. And if you take anything away from the segment, this is the second thing that I wanted to make sure everybody heard.
For sure.
Parents, don't speak to the coaches on behalf of your kids. I hear this all the time from NCAA coaching staff when they look at who they want to bring on their team and they're looking for great leaders.
Yeah.
They want someone who can speak for themselves.
Right.
Now, when they're younger, you got to support them. Maybe say, because a perfect example, when I was at UNH, I went from the first line to the fourth line. It felt like overnight, but it was because of I needed some feedback on my playing. Anyways, I went into her office. I said, what can I do better? How can I be back into this position where I was? Right. And she was able to give me feedback. But when parents intercept, you take away the child's ability to learn how to communicate, have the tough conversation, which builds our self-trust and our self-belief. So the next time it happens, they're not afraid to go and speak to them. Right? So, and that's a huge one.
And I imagine that it's great for the athlete to have that relationship with the coach as opposed to a parent having a relationship with the coach and the coach is not coaching the parent.
Well, you're basically taking the child out of the equation, right?
Yeah.
And we need to, in order to support them, they're not going to get it overnight. We got to cultivate and nurture that independence so that they can show up and be able to speak to the coach themselves.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Find a mentor in a career, and I'm assuming career outside of sports or both.
Mentor in general. So, for example, I do public speaking. I have mentors in speaking. I have mentors in sports. There's different things. So this is, again, if kids identify with their sport all through high school and then university comes or they don't know something, like put them in, that's why those come to work, what's it when they follow you to work at one day?
Right, shadowing.
Shadowing day,
yeah.
Yes. Example. Or maybe you love horses, but they have a real gift with cooking. Just giving them new experiences. So I brought my phone here because we all have a smartphone today. Get in the calendar. I'll identify this is when my daughter has practices with my son, and then it's like put in a new activity once a week. Maybe you're going to discover they have a whole new skill set that you never knew they had, right? So mentoring is huge, just to open their mind. And I know Mom and Dad, we'd love to be around you all the time,
right?
But kids need a different perspective. Sometimes they're not the easiest to speak to, right?
Exactly, and they also need their own friends and to spend time with others and get outside.
Absolutely. Spending time with friends, learning how to interact. Minimize, if you can. What I do with social media apps is I put them in a separate notification tab on my phone. Yeah. I work with athletes one-on-one, and it brings up with them anxiety.
Yeah.
If you look at your phone and you see a ton of red dots,
I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm not checking any of them. I'm sorry, folks.
Exactly. So, especially for kids today, social media it puts on so much pressure, and sometimes we just need to speak to our athlete. Maybe they love their sport, but something's going on at school or happening on social media that we have no idea about. So getting them outside, spending time with friends, watch how they interact. Are they getting, after they spend time with someone, are they coming back joyful or are they coming back stressed? Inquire what's going on there, did something happen? And then support. Again, it's all about supporting and helping them grow, not doing it for them. And I use little reminders. That's why I have these little keep showing up tokens.
Keep showing up.
Yeah, and then I wear my tiger bracelets and stuff. So these are little reminders to myself to help me self-lead when I'm maybe in a headspace where I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like doing that today.
Right.
Oh, well, you can't. You got to keep showing up.
Keep going to the gym.
Exactly.
Keep working out. Keep showing up to school.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Janine. These are awesome tips, and I know that our young athletes at home and their parents in particular would benefit from this segment. So thank you so much.
And I did bring this. I always show this, so it's easy to understand mindset. So squeeze this. If you have a really strong mindset and you're resilient, if you don't do these things and life happens.
Wow, you're crumbling. Getting crushed.
Same thing for mindset work. It works. I know it sometimes is like, it's the last thing people want to put time into, but it's going to bite you in the butt down the road.
All right. Don't get bit in the butt.